Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be doing a review comparison of Transformers Alternators Battle Ravage and Ravage. A couple of warnings off top. I'm probably going to be mentioning some almost 20-year-old spoilers for the Beast Wars show. And I'm probably not going to be displaying the transformation inside of this video just for time's sake, because I don't want the video to be 20 minutes long. So I'm probably going to record the transformation, but put it in a separate video and put the links in this video once I actually post them up to YouTube. The first thing you're probably noticing if you're not in the know about alternators is the packaging has taken a dramatic change since my Sideswipe review. If you watched that, I'll put a link to that too. The packaging on the left, Battle Ravage, was their first revision. They decided to try to do something different, to try to display the car more, where they totally remove the outer plastic lining right here and just give you a more sturdier box with the car. And on the inside, they still have the images of the front of the car, back, side view behind there. With regular Ravage, this is their final packaging revision to the Transformers Alternators line. They decided to go with a bubble, displaying the toy, or displaying the car inside more visibly. But the only problem is, this packaging is resealable. I can put some tape down there to keep the car in place. This packaging, I had to rip it right there. There's no way to get at the car good. I mean, I could tape this inner packaging back down, but this is permanently ripped, and a lot of people hated that. Let me get to Battle Ravage first. Chevy Corvette Battle Ravage. Let me let you see the box. He is number 11 of the alternators in the US. They didn't know how to market these guys, so they wanted to definitely let people know that it's a robot in disguise and not just a car. No bio again, just realistic tires, secret weapon, detailed interior. And on the bottom, you find out you can also find this guy, Wind Charger, who we all know, looking at that head mold. It's supposed to be Overdrive from G1. Anyway, let's get Battle Ravage out of his packaging. Voila, he's out of the packaging. He's a nice Corvette, Z06, I believe. With my limited car knowledge, I believe this is the 2002 version of the Corvette. Funny thing is, when they brought this out, the all-new Corvette they were advertising in 2004, 2005 was just released, which had different headlights. But anything, let me try to show some of the details. That doesn't line up so well, but it has that nice Corvette logo. One thing I always loved is the fact that they could get the brake disc detail behind the wheels. I always thought that was awesome. Transparent rear lights, tailpipes. I don't think I showed the underside of Sideswipe, so minimal kibble. I mean, if you really look, you can see the cat head. It has the steering gimmick. It says Cybertronian radials on the tires. Reflective side views. Non-reflective rear view mirror. Details. This has a hard plastic steering wheel, unlike Sideswipe. That turns. You can see through the floor of the car, unfortunately. Door opens up. Seats don't move. Hood opens, the trunk doesn't. There's the engine. Now, let me get to Ravage. Alternators plain old Ravage. Anywho, let me let you get a better look of this at this bubble. You can even see the rear here. See that he's alternators 26. On the bottom, they have the toy details. They don't have a cross sail. Nice big Jaguar logo. Vehicle to beast. And now on these new packagings, they actually have little quotes like Decepticons Forever, which is something that Megatron said in the first few episodes of the G1 show. But on Beast Wars, Ravage took to saying that when Ravage appeared in the Beast Wars show. But anyway, let me get him out of packaging. Jaguar XK Ravage. He's highly detailed as well. Ravage and Rumble were two surprise entries into the Alternator series. Look at this detail back here. It's amazing. If you notice that my toys are somewhat dusty, these are old. I haven't played with them in a while. When they came out with Rumble and Ravage, they kind of cut back on the budget a little bit. So he doesn't have things like the stern tire gimmicks. The hood doesn't open. The trunk doesn't open. The trunk opens sorta, but it's part of the transformation, and I'm not even gonna try to do that. The door does open. If you have any Human Alliance figures, they can fit inside of there. I meant to bring one down. The seat's adjustable. Steering wheel doesn't turn. Let me see if I can get some other close-ups. Here's the underside. You can see his missiles hanging out. But pretty much, unless you knew this was a Transformer, you would just think it's a toy car. And here's a comparison with Battle Ravage. Anywho, let's get these guys transformed so I can compare them further. Battle Ravage in robot mode. Battle Ravage is a very special case. First of all, his name, Battle Ravage. Hasbro lost the ability to just call him Ravage, so they went with the name Battle Ravage, which helped them out because they wanted to differentiate him between the original Ravage, which was a four-legged creature, and this Ravage. Also, Hasbro wanted to give us Decepticon characters, and they had a hard time deciding on which characters to give us because, as you know, Decepticons rarely ever transformed into cars. But this is one of the ideas they came up with. Now, in America, this Ravage has no real lore. It's just a Corvette that turns into Battle Ravage. No real backstory, no comic, no cartoon, anything. But in Japan, he was actually supposed to be the Ravage from the future that went back to the past to meet up with the original Beast Wars cast and died back 4 million years ago, and he was dug up and rebuilt into this Corvette Ravage. And the only way they could bring him back to life was to use the Ravage from present day time, put him in cassette mode and inside of this Corvette. And somehow they were able to share a spark. So it's kind of confusing and crazy. Original Ravage was stuck inside of his body, sharing a bigger body with a totally different Ravage that had knowledge of the future. Anywho, let me get close-ups on the figure. There's his feline head. His head can actually look up that much. A lot of people use that to try to make their own four-legged modes, which never really look right to me. His mouth opens up a little bit. These missiles can move all over the place. You can even just store them back here if you don't want them. The shoulders used to bug the heck out of me, as they don't rotate up. They just twist here and they hinge in. Right here at the bicep, they go up, sort of giving him a double jointed elbow, even though that's not an elbow, it's a bicep. It hinges here, give him a little bit of extra articulation, and twist here because it's on a ball joint. The wrist wibbles in like this. The index finger moves independently of the other fingers, and they can open that much. No waist movement, but these flaps right here get out of the way so his legs can kick up that much. His double jointed knees, but he is full of kibble all over the place. It just looks like a car exploded into a robot. Somehow I could still get decent poses out of him years ago. So the limited posability didn't bug me too much. The ankles I wish could pivot, but they could just swivel around and rock a tiny bit. If they could pivot, it would be easier to get some wide-legged stances. Anywho, his weapons, besides those two missiles, he has some like shotguns in his forearms, reminiscent of Optimus Primal from the G1 cartoon. And of course, his engine blaster. Anywho, let's move on to Ravage. Ravage in Jaguar mode. He's a Jaguar that turns into a Jaguar. And this is what people expected when they heard that Ravage was going to be an alternator. They expected him to actually be a feline-looking robot. So years later, after Hasbro started the Alternators line, they were able to get the name Ravage back. So I guess they celebrated by actually making a Ravage that turns into a feline. Here's his head sculpt. If you watch John 3.0, his Ravage insult puppet is based upon this head sculpt. It even has the purple detailing. His mouth, unlike the other Ravage, can open extremely, extremely wide. Let's try to get a close-up on the details in there. It almost looks like a seat instead of a tongue. Here's a nice Decepticon logo. Articulation, he can look down that much, look up that much. This part of the neck is on a ball joint. That can look down that much. He can sniff things. And if you can actually rotate the neck and then rotate the head to make him look and other angles. The four legs, four arms, or four legs, whatever you call the legs, front and rear legs, just basically go up that much and back about that much before they bump. And then it has a bulge on it, and elbow right there. And the paws don't rotate, they just go up and down. But the paws been able to rotate in like this at the elbow, give him some extra articulation so he can do things like lick his paw. The rear legs, they basically don't do anything, just go back that much, okay, forward this much. It has like that weird animal knee right there, and a bend right here, and a bend at the feet. The tail has 1, 2, 3 points, but it doesn't curve out to the sides or anything. And these missiles are super adjustable, just like the missiles on Battle Ravage. Let me get some other Ravages I own to compare him to their cat modes. Here's Universe Ravage, Masterpiece Ravage. He almost has as much articulation as Alternators Ravage, but Alternators Ravage has him beat. And original Pancake Flat Ravage. I would say Alternators Ravage has the best cat mode, although it just looks like a car with cat parts hanging off of it. At the end of the day, I think both of these are two cool figures. If I had to suggest one over the other, it would be definitely Jaguar Ravage, because he's definitely more representative of what I think of when I think of Ravage. A cat, black robotic cat. But both of them are cool, and I had fun with both of them back in the day. Hopefully you enjoyed this trip into the past with some old toys that I really enjoyed years ago. So until next time, please like, share, comment, come back for some more. T-Man978 out.